What if the life you're living is just the echo of a decision you didn't dare to make? Sometimes the cruelest silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the constant presence of possibilities that never became real. Paths not taken whisper at the edge of your awareness like dry leaves that never fell, trapped in the moment before autumn. They tremble at the edge of wind, wondering why they were never carried away. There is a kind of haunting that doesn't live in old houses, but in the eyes of those who stopped moving inside. It wears the clothes you never wore, walks the cities you never entered, loves the people you never met. It lives as a version of you that only existed in the invisible theater of imagination, and that makes it powerful. It slows your present like a memory you chose to forget. You ask yourself, what if I had said yes? But what truly echoes inside is something deeper. Who would I be now if I hadn't abandoned myself? The absence of an answer stretches across the mirror, a reflection where no one stands, only the feeling that something stayed behind and keeps watching. As time passes, that absence takes on a face, and it looks too much like yours. Every birthday, every missed encounter, every ignored crossroad becomes a stage of intimate phantoms. And you're both the spectator and the character. Have you felt it too? That strange familiarity with a life that was never yours? At first it seemed harmless, just a passing thought, a light discomfort in quiet moments, a soft what if between a cup of coffee and a window's reflection. But over the years, that ghost grew. It fed on hesitation. It bloomed in the silences where you chose not to decide. And now it walks beside you, not screaming, not accusing, just watching like a shadow immune to light. You feel it most on quiet nights when everything is too still. It doesn't hurt you, it doesn't speak, it just exists. It sits across from you when you're alone. It rests on the empty chair you never learned to fill. It turns the handles of doors you never opened. There is no lonelier pain than realizing you betrayed yourself slowly, with perfect excuses. Logic took care of it all. It was too soon, too late, too risky. And so, day by day, you postponed your own becoming with gentle assassinations. Now that silent figure carries no judgment, it carries proof. The life that could have been and never was. Some people try to bury it with distractions. Others try to drown it in religion, marriage, children, goals. But it always finds a way back, in a film's unspoken line, in the emotion that rises without reason, in the eyes of someone living what you let slip away. It doesn't want to hurt you, it only wants to be seen. It wants you to look at it and say, I know who you are, and I know what I lost. Somewhere inside you there's a garden no one sees. It's not beautiful, not blooming. It's a field covered with paths never walked, doors that never creaked because they were never opened. Twisted trees grow there, shaped by aborted possibilities. And the air carries the heavy scent of words never spoken. The gardener of this place is time, patient, relentless, silent. It doesn't plant flowers. It grows absences. You walk through this garden sometimes in the space between sleep and waking. You recognize the empty bench where you could have waited for someone who never came. You hear far off the laughter of children never born, the clink of a glass in a dinner that never happened. And what hurts most is that it all has texture, color, scent, as if life had prepared the scene, but you never stepped on stage. If this video met the mirror of your silence, leave a comment with the phrase, "Today I pulled the chair and invited my unlived life to sit." That is your symbolic gesture, your offering to the part of you that waited in the shadows. Share this video with someone quietly carrying the weight of unlived choices. Subscribe if something in you still longs to be seen, even the life that never came to be. Shadows are also forms of light. Every choice made was a seed planted, but every choice avoided was a root ripped out too soon. And now, the soil of this garden holds the imprint of a harvest that never came. You try to forget, but some winds blow directly from there, and they carry the fragrance of what you didn't live. There's a moss-covered stone bench in the center of this garden. Time sits there sometimes and speaks with the ghosts of your former selves. They still love you, even though you left them behind. They don't accuse you. They wait. They are what you were. before you chose to become less. And deep down, you know, this garden doesn't need to be destroyed. It needs to be visited. It needs to be wept over. It needs to be claimed as sacred ground in the territory of your soul. There's a mirror you've avoided for years, not the one in your bathroom, not the one in the hall. It's an inner mirror, and it appears without warning. When an old song plays, when someone says your name with tenderness, when loneliness arrives without cause, this mirror doesn't show your current face. It shows the one you might have had if you had been true to yourself. In it, time doesn't pass, it hovers, suspended like dust caught in a shaft of light. And there you see the reflections of the versions you abandoned, the artist you silenced, the lover you pushed away, the country you didn't dare to explore, the courage you buried with plans of safety. All of it looks at you now, not with anger but with longing, and something shifts. Because you realize the ghost of choice is not your enemy, it's your witness. It didn't come to punish you, it came to remind you, to show that even though you can't live every possible life, you can still feel what was lost. And in feeling, you can honor it. Not as pain, but as reverence, and like carrying the names of the dead close to your heart and walking on. The shadow of choice is not a sentence, it is a call. It says, look at me before it's too late, say my name, give me a place at your table. Because I am you, not what you lost, but what you're afraid to lose forever. And in that moment of recognition, the mirror begins to shift, showing a face that has finally accepted all of its versions. In the quietest room of your soul, there is a table that's always been set, even when you forgot to eat. A plate, a glass, a single set of silverware, and one empty chair. For years you ignored that space, thinking it meant absence, thinking it meant nothing. But now you understand. That place was for her, for the life that was never lived, for the version of you that stayed behind, waiting to be invited in. Today, for the first time, you pull out the chair. You invite the ghost of choice to sit at the table, not as a punishment, not as regret, but as part of your inner lineage. You look into her eyes, and they are no less yours than the ones you wear now. There are no words, only a gesture. You break the bread of your present life and offer her half. She smiles and disappears, not because she's forgotten, but because finally, she's been seen. What was once a haunting becomes a memory, not one that hurts, but one that honors. A shadow that doesn't paralyze but guides. There is deep freedom in accepting that you'll never live every possible life, but an even greater peace in knowing that none of them were wasted. Every choice made and in every choice avoided shaped the ground you walk on now. You don't need to run or go back. You just need to sit at the table every day with all yourselves, to share the silence, to honor what never was, and finally, to live with a whole soul. Mantra phrase for comments. Today I pulled the chair and invited my unlived life to sit.